What if no one could unsettle you anymore, not through words, not through silence, nor through betrayal? Most men are easily provoked, where a single mocking remark, a broken promise, or a minor delay triggers anger, bitterness, or exhaustion. It's not the world's cruelty at fault, but their failure to master their own emotions. Stand firm in the knowledge that Stoic philosophers grasped a truth. We've overlooked true power belongs to those who remain calm under pressure. Mental strength isn't about physical might, but about self-control. And self-control starts with an unshakable principle: you don't have to react. In this video, you'll discover how to build emotional mastery in the Stoic tradition, how to stop letting others provoke you and maintain your composure like a man who refuses to be swayed by chaos. You'll grasp why lowering expectations isn't weakness but wisdom, silence isn't surrender but strategy, and emotions aren't the enemy. It's your unchecked reactions to them that pose the real threat. Embrace the reality that if you've ever felt dismissed for your calm demeanor, or that life constantly knocks you off balance, you're not alone. But today, that shifts. This isn't fleeting motivation, it's a profound transformation. Stay with me. What you're about to hear could redefine how you face every challenge. If it resonates, like the video, subscribe, and share it with those who need it. Because true strength isn't in the noise, it's in endurance. And from this moment on, no one and nothing can dictate your inner peace. First, turn self-mastery into your shield. There's a subtle moment when a man surrenders his power. Someone interrupts, mocks, or ignores him, and inside, a storm brews. His chest tightens, jaw clenches, voice erupts. Peace vanishes in an instant, not because the other is stronger, but because he reacted. And in that reaction, he yields control. We often confuse reaction with strength. We think roaring back asserts dominance, but the stark truth is different. Power isn't in the clamor. Claim your authority by choosing silence deliberately. Self-mastery isn't about lacking emotions, but refusing to let them dictate your actions. You don't need to become emotionless. Ut precise. Anger is instinctual, swift, loud, heated, and perilous. It feels like action, yet often leads to regret. When someone insults you and you explode, they've won by getting under your skin. They dictate your mental state, and you unwittingly let them script your life. The easily provoked man has no barriers, no boundaries. His emotions are public property, open for anyone to invade, trigger, and hijack momentarily. Now, envision a different man. He hears the same insult, but remains unmoved, breath steady, gaze unwavering. Forge your resilience by not suppressing reactions, but mastering them through practice, because he understands that emotional control isn't about appearing tough, but about not handing the keys to your peace to strangers. This is the Stoic's true power, not ego-driven, but a command over your time, energy, and emotional space. Perhaps you've experienced this. Stuck in traffic, someone cuts you off, heart races, words bubble up, but then it passes, yet you remain tense, distracted, off balance. That's the cost of reaction. You pay it long after the moment fades. The Stoic man knows this, so he pauses. He lets the emotion peak, but doesn't let it rule. He breathes deeply. He remembers the world owes him no perfect order. Control is in his hands. Most people live in survival mode, always ready to defend, prove, or retaliate. But that mindset weakens you. It places your identity in others' hands. If they insult, you react. Anchor your dignity in the pause that breaks the cycle of impulse. When provoked, don't speak hastily. Don't move rashly. Feel the wave rise within you, but don't ride it. Observe it. Acknowledge it, but don't obey it. That moment of pause is your power. It's where you break the loop. Over time, you'll react less and stay calmer. You stop meeting noise with noise. You cease chasing justice in petty arguments. You guard your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. This doesn't mean passivity. The Stoic man doesn't ignore injustice, but chooses when to act and when to let go. He knows when to speak up, and when silence holds greater power, he picks his battles. And when he engages, he does so with clarity, not rage. You don't need to prove your strength. You need to own it. The loudest in the room is often the least in control. The silent, calm, unblinking one commands real respect. Build unshakable resilience by making calm your default response from this moment forward. Let composure become your habit. Let steadiness be your signature. When you master that, you become impenetrable, not because the world stops testing you, but because it can no longer touch what once controlled you. Second, lower expectations of others. You keep getting disappointed because you set them too high. That's the trap. It starts quietly with a thought that someone should know better, do more, understand more. You expect them to say the right thing, value you, respect your boundaries without being told. But when they don't, you feel it. The frustration, anger, even betrayal. You start believing people are letting you down. But the simple, harder truth is, they're just being themselves. The pain doesn't come from their behavior, but from your expectation that they should be different. Expectations are silent contracts you draft alone, with no one's signature. You think a friend will back you, a partner will be more patient, a colleague will recognize your effort, but they aren't. And in the gap between what you expected and what you got, your peace evaporates. That gap breeds resentment. You carry the weight of unmet expectations others can't fulfill, and it starts to crush you. Cultivate dignity by refusing to blame others for being who they are, as Stoics do. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning, reminding himself he'd encounter the ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, not out of pessimism, but preparation. When you accept human nature, you stop demanding perfection. You cease handing your peace to the next disappointment. You don't expect calm in a storm or clarity in chaos. You learn to see people as they are, not as you wish. Imagine entering a room with no expectations. You don't assume the waiter will be polite, the driver calm, or friends, remember your birthday. You observe. You engage. You respond, but not impulsively. You've freed yourself from the invisible chains of assumptions. You're no longer shocked when someone lets you down because you've let go of the idea that they owe you something they never promised. That freedom is subtle, but transforms everything. Most men tie their inner peace to how others behave. A stranger's rudeness can ruin their morning. A family member's silence can stretch tension for weeks. But what if you could untie that knot? What if you stopped expecting others to deliver your peace neatly packaged? What if you stopped demanding imperfect people act perfectly? That's where Stoicism thrives. It embraces reality on its own terms. It doesn't demand fairness from those who don't yet grasp it. It doesn't require understanding from those still wrestling with themselves. It says, meet people where they stand and don't let it shake you. Here's what you can do now. Think of someone who consistently disappoints you, a friend, colleague, or relative. Ask yourself, am I upset because of what they did or what I thought they should do? Write it down. Say it aloud. Reclaim your clarity by using that question as a mirror to see the truth. You're not betrayed. You're expecting too much. Lowering expectations doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming clear. It's not the death of hope, but the birth of understanding. You don't need to stop caring about people. You need to stop letting your hopes for them become weapons they use to hurt you. Start today. Say, I will see people as they are, not as I wish them to be. I won't beg rain to be sunshine. Instead, I'll build my shelter. That's Stoic freedom, not escaping others, but escaping the burden of needing them to be different. Third, practice indifference to provocation. Some people don't seek peace. They want your reaction. They prod. They poke. They wait for you to erupt because that's how they feel in control. When you lose your cool, they win. Not because they're stronger, but because they've pulled you into their chaos. The moment you react, you let them define who you become. That's the real loss. Not the insult, not the argument, but letting them reach your core. Stoic indifference isn't apathy. It's not ignoring injustice or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's refusing to let anything unworthy of your energy take it. You choose where your mind lingers. You decide who gets access. You guard your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Every time you let a fool provoke you, you step off your throne into their mud. Recall the last time someone deliberately irritated you. A stranger on the road. A colleague disrespecting you in a meeting. A family member who knows exactly what to say to rile you. You felt the fire ignite. Words forming. Tension building in your chest. That's the defining moment. The test. Most fail it. They speak too soon. They act too fast. They lose the very strength they meant to protect. Now picture a different outcome. Same insult. Same provocation. But this time, you pause. Master your strength by letting the urge to react pass without acting on it. You let their words fall without sinking into your mind. You observe. Then decide not worth it. And you walk away, not retreating, but commanding the moment. That's not weakness. That's dominance. The man who doesn't flinch holds the room. The one who stays calm owns the moment. Epictetus said, if someone tries to harm you and you don't accept it, they've failed, because pain requires your permission. Insults only stick when you agree to them. But when you meet noise with silence, when you stop reacting to every jab, you rise beyond their reach. You become untouchable, not because you fight harder, but because you don't fight at all. This doesn't mean passivity. You still act when necessary. You set boundaries. You speak truth. But you choose your battles. You don't get dragged into every petty skirmish. You don't explain to those who only want to misunderstand. You don't argue with noise. You move through it with purpose. That's the Stoic's emotional strength. It's a disciplined mind at peace. Next time someone provokes you, try this. Pause for 3 seconds. Just 3. In that silence, feel everything. But don't act rashly. Ask yourself, do I really want to give them this control? Then decide. That pause is where character forms. Silence separates the strong from the impulsive. Practice this daily in small moments at the store, in traffic, during arguments. Don't respond just to feel better. Let silence speak for you. Let calm unsettle them. The one who shouts has lost control. The one who doesn't flinch makes others shift. Let them talk. Let them mock. Let them try. But guard your energy like gold, because in the end, it's your most precious treasure. Rise above chaos by refusing to fuel it with your reactions. When you stop responding to every provocation, you gain something rare: clarity. You gain peace. You reclaim yourself. Start now. Find a situation today where you'd usually snap but choose not to. Smile. Breathe. Move on. That's how a Stoic wins quietly, completely, on their own terms. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Moments of irritation or unexpected challenges aren't chaos, they're mirrors. Life shows you who you are when things don't go your way. Most people crumble. They complain. They ask, why me? But the Stoic man asks, what am I being called to build in myself right now? Pain isn't personal. It's a lesson. Every frustration is a weight to strengthen your character. Every failure is a forge for discipline. But only if you stop reacting and start responding. Only if you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start as the architect of your inner strength. The world doesn't get easier. You just get better at facing it. When someone disrespects you at work, when your partner snaps unexpectedly, when plans collapse just before the finish line, you're in life's gym with two choices. Let the moment shrink you, or let it sharpen you. Most men get angry and blame. A Stoic breathes, observes, learns, and decides, I won't waste this pain. The truth is, comfort doesn't build character. Stress does. Inconvenience does. Tough conversations, betrayals, delays, they aren't obstacles in your path. They are the path, but you only see that when you stop running and start using them. Transform challenges into fuel. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, fire turns what it burns into flame. That's not poetry. It's practice. What seems to break you becomes your fuel. It's easy to be kind when others are kind. Easy to stay calm when the world aligns. But when someone yells in your face, when life throws curveballs, when pride takes a hit, that's when truth emerges. In that moment, your values aren't just ideas, they're tested. That's when strength shines, not in comfort, but under pressure. The man who stays composed in chaos can conquer anything. Don't wait for the world to make things easier to grow. It won't. What you can do is shift how you view hardship. See it not as disruption, but as an invitation. You're being called to step into a stronger version of yourself. You don't need a perfect life to do this. You just need to treat every irritation as a workout, even the small things, late emails, cold glances. Traffic jams are where the real work happens. Quietly, daily, with purpose. Here's how to apply it. Next time frustration rises, catch it early. Don't run from it. Name it. Then ask, what is this building in me? And decide deliberately how you'll respond. Will you shout and lose control, or stand firm and build resilience? Will you argue or hone your calm? Strength isn't a switch you flip. It's forged in moments like these. Don't pretend you don't feel it. Choose not to let it rule you. You're allowed to struggle, but you don't have to fall. You're allowed to feel the burn, but you also have the power to turn that fire into fuel. Reframe life's resistance as your training ground. The next time life pushes back, don't take it as an insult. See it as a chance. A moment to forge the quiet strength. No one sees your character, your discipline, your unshakable core. Fifth, observe emotions without letting them lead. A man doesn't fall because he feels. He falls because he follows every feeling blindly. Anger soars, and he acts. Fear whispers, and he freezes. Shame appears, and he hides. But what if you could see emotions as clouds passing across the sky, not storms consuming you? This isn't about denying emotions, but stripping their power to control. Emotions are signals, fast, fiery, but not commands. You're not your rage. You're not your anxiety. You're the one who watches them pass. And if you learn to observe without merging, you keep your freedom. Freedom isn't suppressing emotions, it's refusing to be dragged by them. Stoics don't say don't feel. They say feel, but don't follow blindly. Picture yourself in a crowded room. Someone mocks you. You feel the spark ignite, jaw tightens, pulse races. It's real. But pause instead of reacting. Breathe instead of retorting. Name it. This is anger. I feel it, but I won't act on it. You've just broken the chain. You've taken the wheel of your life. Most people can't do this. They live on autopilot, believing every emotion must be expressed. But Stoicism teaches there's a gap between trigger and action. In that gap, you reclaim control. That's where emotional strength is built. Build that strength not by pretending you're unaffected, but by standing firm when the storm rages inside. To do this, practice awareness. Notice without judging. A thought comes, don't grab it. An emotion rises, don't let it steer. Observe, and in that space, you find your power. We often act before thinking, then blame the world for the fallout. But the chaos doesn't start outside, it comes from within. From impulses you never questioned. When you give emotions the microphone, your values go silent. When you let urges lead, your wisdom gets sidelined. A stoic man flips that order. He sees the fire but chooses not to burn. He feels the sting but doesn't strike back. Knowing strength isn't in force, but in restraint. Restraint isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's the quiet command of a man who's learned to pause, observe, and choose. Start practicing now. At work when irritation flares. At home when disappointment hits. When you're tired or provoked. Before speaking, pause. Before acting, check your emotions. Ask, what do I feel, but what do I want to build from this? If the answer doesn't serve you, let it pass. If it builds growth, act, but only after the inner storm calms. Just 10 seconds of awareness can change everything. This isn't theory, it's training. Emotional endurance isn't loud or showy. It doesn't need applause. It lives in the silence between feeling and choice. And each time you pause, that silence grows stronger. Choosing not to react isn't a loss, it's a gain. You reclaim balance, vision, and dignity. The world doesn't need more men shouting back. It needs men who stay silent, see clearly, and act only when the moment is right. So start now. Next time emotions surge like a wave, don't fight or follow it. Stand still, breathe, observe, and move forward with choice, not impulse. Sixth, vind gratitude even in discomfort. Gratitude comes easily when life is smooth and sunny. But when your morning starts with bad news, when a trusted friend lets you down, when traffic steals an hour, what then? Most people complain. They replay the moment. They look for someone to blame. And with every complaint, they dig deeper into bitterness. But a Stoic stands apart. He rises because he knows gratitude isn't reserved for comfort. It's a tool for clarity. Being grateful in pain doesn't mean pretending it doesn't hurt. It means seeing the chance to grow within it. A moment to sharpen patience, test endurance, and stretch humility. While others dwell on what's missing, the Stoic seeks what's possible, a lesson, a new perspective, an inner muscle being trained. He sees discomfort not as a break in peace, but as where true peace proves itself. Imagine you're in line, running late. Your phone buzzes non-stop, and nothing moves. You feel the heat rising, the urge to sigh, snap, or curse the world. Instead, breathe. Look around and tell yourself, this can teach me. Suddenly, it's not just a line, it's a training ground. You're not wasting time. You're building endurance. That shift, choosing to reframe the moment, is how emotional strength is forged. Most men dodge hardship. They chase convenience. But that breeds weakness, not strength. You grow when life pushes back, and you choose to face it. When you ask, what does this frustration reveal about me? That question turns annoyance into insight. When you embrace gratitude for what a tough moment teaches, you take the first step toward true resilience. Seneca said, "A gem can't shine without friction, nor a man without trials." This isn't metaphor, it's reality. Growth doesn't come from ease. It comes from resistance, but only with the right mindset. Gratitude is that mindset. It's not about loving injustice or cruelty, but valuing the chance to respond better than before. This is the shift. You stop begging life to be easier. You start asking to be stronger. Every hard moment becomes an answer to that request. Gratitude becomes your strategy. You wield it to transform how you experience setbacks. You don't have to like what happens, but you refuse to waste it, even the pain. Here's your practice. At day's end, recall a moment that irritated you, a small scene that sparked frustration. Ask, what did this moment train in me? Did it demand patience, challenge my ego, remind me to breathe before speaking? That's gratitude, not for the event, but for the opportunity it brings. Write it down. Speak it out. Let it reshape how you face tomorrow. Most people live reactively. The Stoic lives to refine himself. He doesn't seek comfort. He forges clarity. And when pain arrives, he meets it with calm. Not panits. He doesn't embrace every situation, but he refuses to leave without learning something. Make this a daily habit, not a weekly one. Root gratitude in pain. Plant it in lack. Watch your mind shift, not to fake positivity, but to real emotional independence. This gratitude keeps you steady in chaos, focused in noise, and fully present in ways others can't match. Seventh, let time shrink your problems. A small flame looks massive when your face is too close. But step back, and it's just a flicker. That's time's power over problems. It doesn't change events, it changes how you see them. Yet most people never step back. They press their face to every annoyance, every insult, every delay, burning in moments that should have passed. Time is the Stoic scalpel, cutting through the illusion that the present is everything. It prompts better questions. Will this matter in a month, a year, 5 years? Suddenly, the jab, the cancelled plan, the missed chance feels lighter. Most things that shake you are fleeting. They don't last forever. Harness time to dissolve the weight of fleeting frustrations. You miss a flight. You lose a deal. Someone forgets to thank you. In that moment, your heart races. Your mind spins. You build a narrative. Rehearse a reaction. Nurture resentment. But pause not to deny the moment, but to see beyond it. Whisper to yourself, this will pass. Next year, I won't even recall it. That thought alone drains the venom from nearly any emotion, not through force, but perspective. The mistake many make is believing urgency equals importance. They treat every argument as final, every error as catastrophic, but urgency is a lie. The Stoic knows this. He doesn't rush to fight battles. Time will resolve. He conserves his energy. He knows which pains to face and which to endure. This isn't apathy, it's discipline. Picture standing in a storm, rain pouring, wind howling. You're soaked, shivering, angry at the sky. But someone tells you the storm will pass in 5 minutes. You won't panic. You'll wait. That's the power of perspective, holding your ground. Not because it's easy, but because you know it's temporary. You suffer more when you believe the storm lasts forever. But the wise man knows most don't. Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than reality. Apply time to pain, and you reduce the grip of imagination. A small insult fades by next week. A failure becomes a stepping stone by next year. A broken heart turns to memory, softened by time. When you grasp this, you stop bleeding from minor cuts. Here's a simple practice. When something upsets you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how long will this matter? Answer honestly. The truth is shorter than your reaction. That's your cue to let go. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let emotion come. Feel them, but don't let them shape who you are. Let time wash them away while you stand firm. You don't need to react to every irritation. You don't need to justify your calm to those who only know haste. What you need is to see that peace grows as your perspective widens. Let time be your ally. Use it to filter what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Then you'll see how many problems only seemed big because you stood too close. Step back. Breathe. Zoom out. In 5 years, most of what troubles you today won't matter. So don't let passing clouds block your light. Own your peace by letting time reveal what's truly worth your focus. Let perspective restore your calm and walk through today with a mind anchored in distance, not noise. That's how you rise quietly. Unshakable. Every man craves strength, not the loud kind that draws eyes, but the quiet kind that can't be moved. What you've heard today isn't theory. It's practice. It's the silent discipline of mastering emotions, the power to pause, think, choose, and guard your peace like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. When you master your reactions, lower expectations of others, and see every frustration as a test of character, you transform. You stop being a slave to emotions. You stop being pulled by noise, people, or circumstances. You start living with clarity. Stoics aren't saints. They were men who struggled like you, but they trained their minds daily through reflection, silence, and deliberate response. You can too. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need to show up. You need to practice. Remember, inner peace isn't found, it's built. One habit, one choice at a time. Start small today. When someone speaks rudely, don't snap back. When plans shift, don't complain. When irritation rises, meet it with awareness. Train your emotional strength like a muscle. Turn every challenge into your training ground. Over time, the world stays loud, but you won't be. I invite you to share your thoughts below. What recent moment tested your peace? How did you respond? Let this space be a journal of your growth, a reflection of who you're becoming. True calm isn't the absence of conflict. It's refusing to let your mind be swept into chaos. Hold that truth, live it, and carry it quietly but firmly.